Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On this very special occasion, allow me, Aylakiva Mariska Ishakinah from Junior High School Sabilillah Malang to deliver a speech regarding how a language dies twice. Human history is often imagined through visible ruins. Collapsed empires, burned libraries, fossils pressed into stone like drag marks etched into the earth. Evidence that something once existed here and refused to disappear quietly. Yet, some of humanity's greatest losses leave no physical wreckage behind at all. Sometimes, they vanish out of thin air. In 2010, the last fluent speaker of the Bo language died in the Andaman Islands of India. For nearly 60,000 years, her people had carried that language through storms, migrations, invasions, births, funerals, love stories, arguments, entire civilizations of ordinary life. And then, in a single lifetime, it vanished. Not because the earth exploded, not because humanity disappeared, but because eventually nobody left could answer her back. And honestly, perhaps this feels less distant than we think, because here in Indonesia, we are witnessing something similar happening slowly to many regional languages, including Japanese, one of the richest cultural languages in our nation. Japanese is spoken by millions of people. Yet, despite its size, fewer young people use it deeply anymore. Many can understand it, but struggle to speak it fluently. Some feel embarrassed using formal languages because it sounds old-fashioned. Others switch completely to Indonesian or English online because those languages feel more modern, more global, more useful. And there is something deeply unsettling about that. A library burns and we call it tragedy. A monument collapses and the world mourns. But when a language dies, it often disappears quietly, almost politely, as if humanity does not fully understand what has been lost. Yet, a language is far more than grammar and sound. It is a philosophy of seeing the world. Ludwig Wittgenstein wrote, "The limits of my language means the limits of my world." And perhaps that is why the death of a language is so catastrophic, because every language carries a different map of reality itself. And Japanese is no exception. The language carries and contains entire systems of respect and social harmony through levels of speech like ngoko and krama in ways that cannot be translated perfectly into any other languages. And when languages disappear, those ways of experiencing life disappear with them. To lose language, then, is not only to lose words, it is to lose a particular way of seeing reality. And perhaps the cruelest irony is this. Many endangered languages survived war, colonization, and migration only to weaken in the age of smartphones and globalization. No empire had to burn books anymore. People simply stopped opening them. A child quickly learns which language sounds intelligent in classrooms, which accent gets mocked online, which language sounds modern, and which sounds kampungan. And so, culture begins negotiating with survival. Parents stop teaching regional languages, hoping their children will succeed economically. Families trade inheritance for opportunity. Fluency becomes currency. And honestly, can we blame them? The modern world rewards assimilation with extraordinary benefits. Speak the global language, adopt the global accent, follow the global culture, and doors open faster for you. The sociologist Pierre Bourdieu called this linguistic capital, the idea that some ways of speaking possesses more social value than others. In other words, language is not only communication now, it is power. That is why a language dies twice. The first death happens publicly, when people stop speaking it in schools, workplaces, and cities. But the second death is quieter and far more painful. It happens psychologically. It happens when descendants inherit languages as embarrassment rather than belonging. And when children understand their grandparents but refuse to answer in the same tongue. When accent becomes something to hide, when culture survives only during festivals or ceremonies, preserved like artifacts instead of lived like reality. At that point, the language may still exist, technically, but spiritually, it has already begun disappearing. And Maybe this reflects a larger crisis of globalization. Because despite all our talk about diversity, modern society increasingly rewards sameness. The same humor, the same slang, the same trends, the same voices becoming visible online while others slowly fade away. We often celebrate culture aesthetically while erasing it structurally. People wear batik proudly on special occasions, yet some hesitate to speak Japanese in public. People praise cultural diversity, yet laugh at regional accents. People romanticize tradition while slowly abandoning the language carrying it. The contradiction is impossible to ignore. Because language is not merely what people speak, it is where memory lives. Your first lullaby existed in language. Your family's jokes survived through language. Your grandparents' advice, your prayers, your nicknames, your ancestors' stories, all of them travel through sound first before they ever become written in history. And one day, humanity may wake up more globally connected than ever, but yet culturally narrower than any other civilization before it. A language dies twice. First in conversation, then in consciousness. And every time that happens, humanity does not merely lose words, it loses another way of being human. Thank you.